Hello, good morning. I am Lorenzo Busatti. I am a founder of ISP since 1997 in Italy, my country, and a founder also of a wireless ISP 10 years ago, a trainer and a member of RIPE and some internet exchange in the world. I hope you understand me, and I will do my best for you. This was our cake for made a huge party. We served about cakes for 300 people 2 weeks ago, celebrating 10 years of the wireless network. And I live in Tuscany, is there. Near the sea, this is the classic landscape of my country, and we have a network that covers about 1,000 square miles. This is our actual coverage. Before that, I am a MikroTik enthusiast, but more than that, a MikroTik evangelist, because I like to talk to MikroTik for every stuff to everywhere. I am also founder of the Routing Wireless Academy in 2016. It's a non-profit organization for high-quality training partners. This presentation, like the others, is dedicated to my friend Massimo Passerini, that was my student, a colleague, a trainer, and a real friend, and he can't be anymore with us at Imam, and this is the way that I bring him with me. So, about the presentation, the mAP and the mAP lite is dedicated to the mAP family because they are beautiful products, so smart, and with tons of use and applications. This is a proof of concept presentation. It's not a technical one. I will not explain nothing with Winbox or command line interface. I start to think about these nice applications that will be perfect for the mAP at the 10th MAM in Prague last year, in 2015. Over my concept, I hope that you will find a new way to have RadioOS with you. This is the mAP 2N that I have in my pocket. I have the volume of a smartphone bent in two, like StarTAC, you know? The same size. That will fit your hand. This is the size. Let's look at some technical data. I have a 400 MHz CPU, 64 MB of RAM, 2 fast Ethernet ports, 1 wireless interface, 1 micro USB interface that is for power and for data also. So you can plug the adapter that is included in the box, and you can plug any USB key, USB disk, or 3G or 4G cards for having internet into your mAP. The wireless is 2 gig only. It's 802.11bgn. Have just one chain, so just one antenna. Is a standard transmission power. Is have nice sensitivity, so the minimum is minus 96 dB, is not bad, and is powerable by everything. This is one of the nice things of the mAP. You can power it using the jack with a huge range of voltage between 8 to 57 volts. So you can power on with everything. You can power on also by USB with any USB battery, for example, like this one. I'm sorry because it is a big one. It's nice to power on with a small one that fit in your pocket. And you can power on it by the Ethernet PoE. The Ethernet PoE is a passive PoE, so it supports the full range from 8 to 57 volt, and in other interesting things that the second Ethernet port support the PoE out with the same voltage that I have in the input. So You can use it as a pass-through PoE, powering itself by the PoE interface and powering on another device after. It's a small, and it has rather less for level 4 inside. I was excited when I bought my first one, just out of the market. It's powerable by almost everything. It's so small, with PoE out, the USB port for storage or 4G key, it costs only $45. And this is the product that I love to talk about it in my training classes. I use it to have this map all the times in my hand. And when explaining something, I'm used to say to my student that all the things that I'll explain will run on this device that will fit into my pocket. This is the real size picture. How is big into my hand is better, this picture, than thousands of words. But what is better than a map? The mAP Lite. The new products that will fit any small pocket like this one. It's so small. There is some differences between the mAP and the mAP Lite. So the mAP Lite have more powerful processor, but just one Ethernet port with PoE support. But the wireless interface have two chains, so two antennas, so it can reach 300 megabits maximum performance. MikroTik's power is up to 22 dBm and does not have the jack. So you can power on this device with USB port or by the PoE over Ethernet. The voltage range is huge, but have also the support for the AF and AT protocols. Having just one Ethernet interface does not have the PoE out. And this is the picture with the same products in my hand. It's incredible. So after the map that I was excited for, with the mAP Lite, I became euphoric. Smallest than the map, and with dual chains antennas, and cost only $25. Nothing. So, comparing the technical data, I have in bold the difference there. More CPU into the Lite, two Ethernet ports into the map. The USB port into the mAP Lite support only power on, so no data. You can't use the mAP Lite for having 3G or 4G cards or USB memory sticks. Does not have the support for the AF and AT, the map, almost the same voltage range, and does not have PoE out because have just one Ethernet port, and the cost is near the half. So you can buy almost two mAP Lite instead of one map. So what about the size and weight? I will show a few pictures that are better than a lot of diagrams. These are the sides, and this is the weight. This is at my office. We have our map in the 2015. I showed this picture near the coffee machine, the printer, you know. This is the size of and the weight of the map. You can power on and you can fix it hanging into the Ethernet cable because I have no weight. It's safe. And this is the mAP Lite. It's invisible. Unique features. The map have two Ethernet ports, PoE out and powerable by a jack, and the USB support also data. And the mAP Lite is smaller and lighter than the mAP. It's powerful wireless and have two chains. The AF and AT support is cheaper and with a magnet. You can fix your mAP light to a rack, yes, or at your fridge, or inside your car, I don't know. Also your notebook, but not the aluminum one. Meanwhile, I have to power on this little toy. We have to play with it. The power of router OS. This is the scope of my presentation. All the function and the power of router OS, it's inside the small devices. I'm sorry, I have another one to play with. You can do access points here, firewall, traffic shaper, hotspot, dynamic routing protocols like OSPF, MPLS, BGP, and the user manager. Almost everything can run inside these small devices that you can bring always with you. It's awesome. But it doesn't support the duty server. But yes, it's right, because we'll destroy the compact flash in 2 days, I think. So thanks to God, does not support. And you can see in live at the ISP Architect stand that they have built for this MAM the world's smallest MPLS ISP using just the mAP. Maybe they can use only the mAP lite on this point. And you can do that with any other vendors. No one supports all this protocol in these small devices. Yes, obviously, the power of the processor and the memory is reasonable, is small. So, but for doing labs or small jobs, it's perfect. About the wireless performance, trying them on the field, I didn't find differences in wireless performances. They have different wireless chips. The mAP have an heteros, and the mAP lite, the new Qualcomm heteros. But the mAP 2N, the standard one, seem to receive better signal. Maybe because he have big sides, so big antenna, and you know that the wireless field is just a way of measures. The sides make the difference. So this one receive greater signal compared to the mAP lite, few dB, not more. I will show you some measures that I did in an indoor environment against a home AP AC Lite in the same condition. This is the mAP, this one. So I was able to reach the maximum modulation of about 150 megabits because I have just one chain. And the speed was about 100 megabits per second, a bandwidth test. The signal was minus 47, minus 55 received. And this is the mAP lite in the same exact conditions, the same position, same place, everything. So we reach the double of data rates, almost 300 megabits per second. But doing the bandwidth test, we reach 100 megabits per second in UDP. And the signal received is minus 57. So I notice about this difference in my office when I replaced on my coffee machine the mAP with the mAP lite, and I see that receive less 2 dB instead of compared, to the mAP. So is have small antenna. So these are the measures compared, almost the near speed reached, double data rate, but 2 dB less in the received one. Practical application of the map, probably they designed it as a low-cost home access point, but these products are applicable in amazing wireless projects and in the security field. The first time that I saw the map, I had this vision. Because I'm involved in security, I imagine this product in the middle of a Cisco network, for example, in the middle of PoE cable, self-powering this device, and in wireless with my smartphone, no PC, I can see the VLAN, untag them, modify them, make traffic dump, save data files, anything. Self-powered, full transparent, and with full remote control. I'm used to call it inline pen test, a security application for the map. This is in real life, self-powered by PoE, in chain in a network. My favorite little toy for the inline pen test and doesn't need external power. So you can untag VLAN, you can filter the traffic, you can manipulate the traffic and the addresses, like MAC addresses, for example, using the layer 2 bridge firewall that have router OS inside. You can make a traffic dump live on screen, or if you have a notebook, you can create a remote sensor in Wireshark, and in Wi-Fi, at distance, you can dump the traffic. But we are not at the Black Hat conference here. We are at the MAM. So from here, you have just to use your own imagination about the security application of the map. It's just a starting point. So let's talk about now the wireless applications, the most interesting one. Your map can be a simple standalone access point or an access point under a capsman control, like said the previous presenter. Both have the cap LED also. But since RouterOS 6.35 with the fantastic brand new wireless wrap package, like told Uldis yesterday, can be a repeater or a station with multiple virtual access points. This is the point of my tool. About granular wireless coverage. Some vendors say, maybe with the dog, that they support up to 500 concurrent users. Yes, it's true. But my question is, with how much bandwidth for each user? How many radio they have inside? You know that the physics is one, the time slot is one, the modulation is one, you have just to divide. No one can multiply data rates with nothing or for nothing. So, the vision is few powerful access points or a team of map. The total bandwidth is incomparable. For example, an hotel floor with 40 rooms, 2 people each one, the max total is 80 people. Usually companies make a coverage using 4 expensive access points. Because they are expensive, they have to use it few, maybe 4. We assume that they are very good access points, and they will bring in multi-point function up to 100 megabits per second in aggregate, and it's real. It's true. This is my vision. 20 map lite per floor. They have low power, low CPU, so they bring up to 50 megabits per second in multi-point, no more. So, how much will cost the common version? 4 expensive access points will cost no less than $500 each one, and you know the price, like me. and one controller that costs no less than $1,000. So you will spend $3,000 for buying the devices, and you can bring maximum up to 400 megabits per second. So the minimum bandwidth for each people in the worst condition is 5 megabits per second. With the mAP lite, or my granular vision, they cost $25 each one. You can use a Rotherboard 3011 as a Capsman, as a beautiful wireless controller, like the presenter told you before, that costs $179. So you will spend less than $700 in total, and the maximum aggregated bandwidth will be 1 gigabit per second. So in the worst condition, you will be able to bring to each one at least more than the double of the bandwidth. These are just facts. So you will save more than $2,000 for buying products. You will provide at the same time the double the bandwidth, and the network will be for sure more reliable, because if one expensive access point will die, you will lose the 55% of the coverage, and if one mAP lite die, you will lose just the 5%. So everyone should browse the internet and doesn't call you for the quick support. So now the last part of the presentation, so the wireless Swiss knife. So thanks to the sides of the mAP lite, the easy powering, and the power of RadioOS, I developed my personal wireless Swiss knife. It's a new friend that is always with me. He can sleep in your pocket. Yes, it's a little bit a nerd that will jump you in the 80s if you are too young, but it's very useful, and you should consider that. The basic idea is to have a lot of function with you, easy, manageable by a smartphone, not with a PC, and the build function using virtual access points. So one function, one virtual access points, one network. This is the things. You will connect your mAP lite to any access point as a station, powering it with a USB battery or by a netbook if you are with a notebook. And you can use multiple SSD for different functions that I will show you in my slides. With your iPhone, just selecting the right network, you will have functions enabled. The concept should be easy. I use easy names, and you can see them on the wireless. If you are doing a scan with your smartphone, it's now power on. And heavy internet, heavy internet, because there is one LED that I'll show you later what I did. Step one, my bridge. It's a virtual access point with a WPA encryption in a bridge with the physical wireless LAN as a station, when applicable, so when the network allows you that, with station bridge or other things like WDS. It's useful for a level 2 access in the wireless network. So from the map, using your smartphone, you can do things into the layer 2 networks, use the discovery and so on. It's a tools. Step 2, the common one, my routed. It's a virtual access point with encryption, with a subnet, DHCP server, and masquerade. So I will browse internet using this SSD, my routed. It's a routed network, it's a netted network, like here. And I have to enable. And that's it, just for browsing. Because I am with my smartphone, I don't want to check Winbox or Webbox, sorry, for watching if there is internet or why not. So I can control the wireless LED on the mAP lite, for example, using a very simple script for have it powered on when there is internet. So just watching a LED, I can see if it's working or not. Using NetWatch, ping into 8.8.8.8, you can power on the LED, power on or power off. It's one simple command, no more. But this is the most important thing that was in my concept. When outside the office you need the VPN to work, but the only protocol that works in every occasion behind the net, hotspot, and firewall is the SSTP that is supported by Router OS as a client, as a server, but not by smartphone or operating system different than Windows 7, 8, or 10. So the thing is that create an SSTP client to my office with care about net and routes. It's a common best practice. A new virtual access point with a WPA2 with a routed SSTP client and filters to the office. And also, for this function, I will use another LED, the cap LED that they have, the cap LED. When the VPN is up, I will power on my LED. So I can know, just watching the lights, if I have internet and if I have my VPN working. Using the same NetWatch for an easy way, pinging an IP address inside the VPN. No difference. And then, for my friends, it's nice to share Wi-Fi to your friends, so I create a new virtual access point for my friends with a different wireless encryption key, with a different subnet, the HTTP server, and masquerade. But, thanks to the firewall, your friends should not communicate with the other networks, and most important, with the VPN. You know your friends, they will browse YouTube's videos and a lot of applications that use a lot of internet. So, thanks to the simple queue or Q3, it's up to you, they will have a lower priority than your network. And then, step 5, free internet. If you have a lot of friends near you, a better choice would be to use an hotspot instead of a simple pre-shared key to share. So, a new virtual access point with no encryption, with a different subnet, with an hotspot that's running inside the mAP lite. Thanks to the firewall, they should not communicate to the other networks and with the VPN. And because you does not personally know all the strangers, with the queue, they will have a lower priority than the others before. And fast internet access is almost a joke. Why not to try to get a free beer, thanks to unknown people near me? Virtual access point, no encryption, with hotspot, and the user manager with the PayPal integration. Why not? It's possible. Yes. So this network also should be separate between the others, but because they are customers that pay, with the queue, they will have a better priority than the others. So your friends for free will browse for the last. IPv6 tunnel is another interesting application. If you need IPv6 and the wireless network where you are does not provide them, you can create a tunnel to your office for bringing IPv6 addresses to your mAP lite. Because it will be difficult to have a standard IPv6 tunnel working behind someone else's net, double net, triple net. You know that is not possible, but you can create a different VPN and bring IPv6. This is how we look as networks. You can choose different networks by the usage. with an easy, just a click. And in other interesting tools, it's a background scan. With this new tool, in the wireless rep, you can scan for networks without stopping to work. So, being connected to your map, these are all the virtual access points. I was connected to this one. I can do a background scan, watching the frequencies, the SSID, MAC address, and I was connected through the wireless interface because they will not be disconnected. And one of the last things, funny things, in few occasions, it would be nice to create some confusion around you, but just for fun, of course. The idea is to create 100 fake virtual access points with no internet behind, with just funny names, and using a script for creating them, and another one for removing them. So with just one click, and I show you how. Because my friend and colleague Andrew from Bright Wi-Fi is a scripting wizard, and he wrote for me a few lines of code for doing the job. And let's look how it works. I wasn't powered correctly. Okay. What happened? Is the right one? Yes. Something happened into the transport. Oh yes, power on, sorry. Okay, my routed, that's it. Oh my God. Lot of access point here, sorry. Okay. So I have a script. These are the wireless interfaces. The wireless LAN is connected to the hotel SSID. System script. I have two scripts. One for adding virtual access point and the other one for removing. It's just a few lines of code. And I will run So I created 41 virtual access points. Maybe I have wireless standard different. You can check on your mobile phone all the SSID that are running into this room. And after that, you can remove them just with one script. That's it. One click to add, one click to remove. What need more now? A dual band map lite. At the BAM in Ljubljana, I asked John to make it, but as I can see, in 2 months they didn't make one. And yes, as I told him, it can be a little bigger for fitting 2 wireless interfaces. So, the map and the map lite are so powerful than you expect, and the use in the real world can solve a lot of business needs. The limit is not technology anymore, but are in your skill and your fantasy. The last question is, what is better than a map lite? 2 map lites, 10, hundreds, thousands, or millions. I hope you enjoy my presentation. And from today, you will start to watch the map family from a different perspective. So, thank you, and enjoy the MAM.
Thank you, Lorenzo. Do we have any questions? Yes, we have.
Well, you'd showed earlier about replacing 4 super APs with, I don't know, 50 of the map lights or whatever. And you're saving all this money because you're not buying the expensive APs, but aren't you using that money running Ethernet cable to those 50 APs?
Yes, of course, but usually in every modern building, like an hotel, there should be Ethernet cable in the room for bringing, for example, SIP phone, VoIP phone. So today, in almost any new building, there are cables, and instead of that, you can use this money saved for bringing cables for a more affordable wireless network. Yes.
Thank you. Any more questions? Yes?
Voltage. You on the original map, not the light with the 2 PoE ports, you showed a picture of being in line with a SIP phone. Will that do both 802 AF and 24 volts? Is that completely flexible on PoE?
Yes, it depends on the switch, because some switch power on these devices also if it does not support the standard. And because it's a pass-through, the opposite device support it.
So you can both feed it with AF and 24 volts?
Yes.
Okay, that's impressive.
Thank you. Any more questions? Yes?
Okay, if I put these in a classroom with 30 kids that both that have 2 wireless devices, so 60 wireless devices, do you think it'll handle that bandwidth if they're all watching Netflix?
Sorry, can you repeat? Sorry.
Okay, I've got a classroom with 30 kids in it. Each kid has 2 wireless devices, and they're watching Netflix on all of them. Do you think it'll handle that bandwidth?
Yes, so you can bring a lot of bandwidth, but obviously you can't compare with the others.
I think.
Okay, yeah, one more question.
What we've done with the map is we got a SIP phone, a Cisco phone. Of course, it doesn't have wireless in it, but you can take the Cisco power supply, plug it right into the map, and then you have wireless to get to the phone, and then run an Ethernet cord out PoE into the Cisco phone, and it powers the phone. So all you really need is just a 110-volt connector, plug the map in to the Cisco phone, and now everything works.
Yes, it's depend on the switch. It can be powered of a PoE, or even if it does not support officially the AT or AF standard, because it's supported by the devices and they are connected together, the powering lines. So it detects it and the power on and use it to dump traffic on Cisco phones, yes.
Thank you. Do we have any more questions? Thank you, Lorenzo.
Thank you.